So call meeting to order at 7:06 pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. GL 30A18 and the governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Hubbardston Board of Library Trustees will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town website. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via Zoom. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website a comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. So I guess I'll just start by saying that in our Zoom meeting, you will see the Ryan McLean is me. Josephine Amato. So this is Ryan's Zoom account, and so therefore that's why that shows up. Yeah, I probably could change it, but I won't. Is Chris here? No. So Chris Barbera, our library director, is not here as of yet. So let's put off the director's report. What do you think? I know she had emailed it to everyone, but I prefer that she go over it. So let's just put that to the side for now.
And if she doesn't attend or is unable to come, we do have the minutes she submitted that one of us can read.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the end.
Yeah, let's do that. And one of us can read that at the end. Good idea, Morgan. Okay, so I guess the next thing on the agenda is the scholarship, which the scholarship fund, I should say, which Chris sent. I guess we received one and one person entered the competition, the scholarship fund, and she sent that out to us today. Did you all notice it? We haven't actually sat down to talk about whether
it was a thank you note.
Yeah.
It was a thank you note?
Yeah, it was a thank you from one of the recipients.
It was a thank you note.
From last time.
Yeah, it was really nice.
That's why the name looks so familiar. Okay, good. That was nice. Then there, and I do believe there was one person who did enter, and I assumed that was what she had attached to that email, that assumption, because I told her that we would sit down and talk about whether we're doing that this year. We hadn't actually discussed it, whether we have money for it or whether we want to run it again this year. So let's have that talk.
How did everybody know to apply?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. And I believe it's on our website. It's probably on the Quabbin website. And
from last year with the same dates or something?
Maybe.
Very likely, because it's still, the poster never got taken down from the Hub Market. So that might be what somebody's looking at as well. That's been up for all year.
Wait, so are you saying we got an application for this?
I believe we did. Yeah, I believe Chris emailed me back before the February meeting. And I thought we would discuss it at the February meeting, that there was an applicant. Yes. So let's decide on whether are we doing it the way we did it last year? Are we doing it at all? What do we want to do?
I vote we do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in favor of doing it. I thought that the funds came from the Hubbardston Public Library road race that we funded the scholarship from. So it would be dependent on that.
On how much we have and then dividing it. Last year we chose two winners. So do we want to do it that way again this year? Choose two winners and decide on an amount up, I think, what did we give them last year? $500 each? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we can, we'll do it that way. And if we don't have enough, we can lessen the amount. So up to $500?
Well, if you look at the back, the second page of the library director's report, she lists the accounts, and the donation account presently has 21,000 in it. With having, I don't know what we spent it on, but we spent about $3,700 so far this year. So I think we have adequate funds. We shouldn't make the concept contingent on money.
My understanding is that we had planned on this being an annual thing.
Yes.
So I would say, yes, let's continue with it. I would also say, let's maintain for continuity the same rules and the same award throughout. And that way, next year, we don't get surprised by 30 people applying.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see it on the library website right now, but I'm sure we have all the documents. We could just update them.
Okay.
And then, publicize it.
Okay, so I'll contact Chris tomorrow. I'll send her an email tonight asking her to publicize it and get the paperwork onto the the scholarship application onto the website. And I think we did vote on this last year. My only concern was because of COVID, in the way, who knows how money, questions in that regard, I guess. But it sounds like we don't have any questions, that we do have the money to fund 2 scholarships, and let's go with what we planned last year. Then we'll get Chris to post it.
Was it 2 500s?
Yes.
I also think that within our wording for last year and the advertising, we said at minimum we do 1 at 500. We did end up doing 2, and I agree with continuity that we should continue to do 2. We may want to continue to do the same wording though.
Morgan, can you say that again? We may continue to
have the same wording. I think that we worded it as if we would award up to or at minimum one $500 award, allowing room if we receive more applicants and we felt more were warranted. But I think that we had it open, and so that's where I was going to suggest that we keep the wording as open as we've had it in the past.
Okay.
You mean you would give 3 or 4?
We could.
I think it depends. If we ended up with a year, like if this year we ended up having 5 excellent, I think it would then be a discussion versus saying we absolutely have to cap it.
Mm-hmm.
I like having more flexibility.
Yeah. I think I agree with you. We should keep it the way it was worded.
Okay.
It gives us flexibility.
So I take it back. So I just found it on the Public Library Facebook page, and our wording was apply now for one of 2. So we did actually say apply now for one of 2 $500 scholarships for post-secondary education. So I would just keep it continuous.
Okay.
Agreed.
And we had a deadline of April 30th, where it's beginning of March. If we're able to get it out kind of within the next couple of weeks, I think having an April 30th deadline is sufficient.
Yeah.
And we could review them at the May meeting.
Yep. Okay. Okay, sounds good. So I'll contact Chris and ask her to just get that up there as soon as she can for us.
So
We
so
need
yeah, I
somebody
guess.
to contact the high schools.
Sorry.
Yeah, we need to get all the info to all of the local high schools. Yep. How did we do it last year?
I think it was Monty Tech, Quabbin,
Parker,
Sizer.
Mm-hmm. We had a letter. Did we have a letter last year that we sent out?
Yes. We had a flyer that I put up in some stores. Apparently, I never took them down.
Well, the world shut down soon after that, so.
I'll go up and cross out the 0 and write a 1 on it. And I remember contacting somebody in Monty Tech, and I never got through to Quabbin. I don't know how they were communicated with, but I do have a Monty Tech contact.
Okay.
It could be emailed to the counselors, probably would be a good.
Yeah.
Way to get the word out.
I can do that. I can send it to the counselors, and the guidance counselors at Quabbin have already sent out scholarship in like websites and info, and so okay, I will send that to Quabbin.
Would you mind if I gave you the Monty Tech person? You also did that person?
I was just going to email. You can, but I'm just going to email them.
That's
I'm not
correct.
going to make a phone call.
Oh, all right. All right.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I just
Sure.
don't have time to do it.
Yes, you may. I can, if you get it, tomorrow is my day where I don't see clients and I can do busy paperwork. So if I get that, then I can send it to them tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
Or over the weekend even. Okay, so I'll do Quabbin and Monty Tech. I'll handle Quabbin and Monty Tech, getting them the info, and Chris. Okay. So yeah, I think we're all set with that. I don't think we have to vote on it. We voted on it last year. We're just continuing something we already started. Okay, ready to move on? I'm sorry, you guys can't see me. I nod my head a lot, and you know, it's weird not to see myself in here. But, ready to move on?
Well, how do we contact the other schools? I heard a list of schools.
I mean, I don't mind handling all the schools. So I'll handle Quabbin, Monty Tech, Parker, Sizer. Am I missing one? Quabbin, Monty Tech, Parker, Sizer. I think that's all of them, right? 4 of them. And I'll look into it tomorrow, and then I'll get them the info. I'll figure out how to email them all and get it to them.
And when it's posted to the Hubbardston Public Library Facebook page, I'll make sure that Hubbardston Celebrations picks it up and shares it.
Oh, great. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Are we, any other comments or questions or anything else that anyone want to mention in this topic?
Does it go on the official library website?
Yes. Yes.
Good.
Yeah. And Chris manages that, so I'll ask her. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened with the minutes. Did everyone get the January minutes and get the chance to look over them? So I think I sent out the 2020 minutes instead of the 2021 minutes.
So that's what I was like wondering.
I don't know, but when I looked back, I didn't see it, Krista. That's why I didn't respond right away. Krista did email me, and I didn't respond right away, and I just figured I would send them out again
Well, it
tonight.
still seems like 2020, so it's not surprising that.
Oh, do you mean that I wrote January 7th, 2021 on the minutes, and then did I miss name?
I think you just attached the wrong file. You just attached January 2020 instead of.
So tonight,
January
I just forwarded
2021.
what you had, I forwarded what you had sent, or didn't you also do that? Okay, so does everyone have the right minutes? The January 7th, 2020, okay.
Why don't we do the
No.
minutes next month?
Yeah, okay. Sorry about the confusion. I don't know what happened. I have a kid with COVID. It's just crazy times right now. So yeah, so okay, let me look at those January 2021 minutes and resend them, and we'll look at them in April.
Josephine, I take that back. I have not reviewed them, but I just saw
Okay.
them in around noon today, but I hadn't checked my email. There is an updated 2021 minutes, but I haven't reviewed it yet.
You want to take a quick sec to review them, or do you think it just requires more concentration and time?
No, I think I can review it real quick.
Okay.
Were there any updates or any corrections that anybody else noticed?
I can't say anything because I wasn't at the meeting, so I don't know.
Did everyone else get a chance to review them? Yeah.
Can you just put it up on the screen real quick?
Okay. I need a second to open them up and.
The main thing was trying to summarize all the grants, so
yeah,
hopefully that was okay.
I'm almost there. I'm in my email. I just need a second. almost there. I have it up and I'm going to share my screen. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
there is it a little cut off or is it fine?
Yes, it's cut
Cut
off.
off,
It's cut off. Okay. All right.
cut off on the right side.
All right. I'll
That's
just make
strange.
my screen mine full size. Okay. Can you see that?
Yes.
Perfect,
Okay. I'm
perfect.
going to scroll up a little bit, give everyone the chance to read that, and then let me know when you want me to keep scrolling.
I'm all set.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Keep going. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
I think it looks great, Krista. Thank you for all your hard work.
Welcome. It's hard to balance too much and not enough detail, so hopefully it's okay.
Okay. So
It is.
everyone is done reviewing?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay. Stop my
I
share.
make a motion to approve the minutes from January 7th, 2021.
I second.
All in favor? Krista,
Yes,
Connie,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Tom,
yes.
Josephine, yes. Okay, great. That was easy. Now we don't have to look at it again next time around. Okay, so Tom, next up is Tom. Sorry, you were the only one that attended that meeting. Monday nights I work late, and do you want to talk
No
about it?
problem. No problem at all. We're all busy. Went into the meeting with these write-ups, asking for a certain amount of money. And all of a sudden they say, I didn't know this was the procedure, but all of a sudden they say they want some quotations. And what I was doing was estimating it because the state procurement laws don't require 3 bids if it's under $10,000. And most of this stuff is pretty small. It's,
Mhm.
you know, it's 3,000 here and 4,000 there. So I have always taken the attitude that if we go to the CPC and we overestimate, we have to give the money back if we don't spend it all. If we underestimate it, well, we do some more of the work next year. In response to that, they suggested that, gee, it's hard to keep asking for these kind of things every year. Why don't you up your money amounts and we'll see what we can do. So my mission now, or since then, I just wish they had told us that back when I first submitted the applications. They, cancel the meeting and then I go into a meeting and all of a sudden quotes are needed. So I'm scurrying around and getting some quotes and I'm going to re-estimate. And at their invitation, I'm going to probably shoot a little high. I'm always too frugal. And the only downside to that I can think of is if we asked for $100,000 and we really only needed 50 as an example, then we're tying up the money where somebody else could come to the CPC and get it and use it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I'm going to aim high, but not crazy high. And I'm going to have to revise these program applications and supply whatever estimates or whatever quotes I can get. I'm presently out to a company called Sand and Lime to do the pointing. I've also talked to the highway department. I've got Lucky Lou, working on the inside fix 'em up type things that Chris wanted done. Small things, but they're necessary, painting and leaks, air leaks and whatnot. I got National Glass on the windows. I got Goldsmith on the electrical, and I got another company on the electrical for the fire exit signs and whatnot. And so I'm going to end up with more money than the last time you guys voted on these applications. So tonight, I'd just like your vote of approval to revise this to where it comes out after I get all these quotes in, and submit this estimated package. Believe me, the quotes are going to be a foundation, and then I'm going to add uncertainty to it. And submit this package at the next CPC meeting, which I think is about the 23rd or 24th, somewhere in there. That's like a month from the last one. And that's the plan. We also have some money that we have to spend in 2020, this year, before June. We have $10,000 from a previous town voted allocation for the foundation work. And I'm going to try to figure out how to get some of that work done with that money, so we're not asking for money that we already have.
Okay.
So that's my story. It hasn't been much fun. The CPC process is absent a set of rules to go by. So I'm always get a little surprised whenever I go into a meeting. But that's my fault. I should be asking for all the rules before we set out on this path. But I think it'll all work out. Good news, they're very helpful, very interested in the library. They complimented you guys' work on the roof and the things we've done recently. Of course, they contributed a big amount of that. And they're very supportive, and it's not very often you go into a meeting and they say you really ought to increase your money amount. So it feels pretty good. Let me keep going, and I just need your agreement that I can write down some numbers that I have to write down before our next meeting.
The numbers that you have to write down before the next meeting are estimates.
That's correct. Yeah. We'll have to go out for. We'll have to actually form a contract with some of these people, and I won't hide the fact that I'm going to go down to the highway department and see what they can do for me. Travis and his crew have been very helpful. There's some tree removal involved. There's some digging and moving dirt around and storing dirt down there while the work goes on, and then bringing the topsoil back and seeding and stuff. There's a lot of cooperation that the DPW can provide us and save some money. But in the meantime, I have to estimate it. One of the big parts of the package is the grinding out the mortar between bricks where it's been washed by the fact that the gutter failed there in the front. That whole wall washes, and as it comes down over the bricks, it's like a little bunch of little waterfalls, and it erodes the mortar between the bricks. So there's a pretty good size money involved in grinding that out and reinserting good mortar. I've been working with the guy, and just to give you a sense of it, it's $30–40 per square foot. So you do 100 square feet, that's $4,000. But the good news is that you only have to do as much as you can afford to do, and if there's more pointing needed next year, we'll do it. The other area is the landscaping. I've been talking to a professional landscaping person. Her name is M.L. Altabelli. She lives in Westminster. She's on the Agricultural Commission, and she's big in the farmers market and stuff, and that's how I met her. But she actually has a company that does landscaping. And she sent in a letter that I'm going to include in my estimating. She goes to pretty good detail on what has to happen to these existing trees. If you really go by the library and look at them, there's a lot of dead wood in it. And they have to either cut out the dead wood or take down the whole tree. She has thought that the best approach is to go from the edge of the school border near the yoga place all the way up the street to the to the driveway into the parking lot, and take a full frontage view, because the whole main street's going to get dug up and rebuilt in 22. So she has offered a proposal to walk us around the property and talk about it and develop a concept proposal. We would then review the concept proposal and approve it and figure out the funding for it. I'm going to put some of the funding in this CPC thing, but I don't know how much the whole shebang costs, so I won't know it. But much of the money could be spent in 2022, so we get another chance to get additional money. So if it's okay with you guys, I'm gonna proceed with her, and I'd like to spend about $2,000 on the walk around, first cut of a plan, final plan, and I think that's reasonable. And
Could that money come from the Fairman? Isn't that supposed to be beautification or something?
yeah, we put some money as skin in the game on one of these things, and I think it was the Fairman Fund. I think we put $5,000 down, and the CPC recognized that as a nice thing, as a good faith effort, and I just can't put my finger on it right now. But
Okay, yeah, I remember we did talk about it, but I didn't realize it was for this.
yeah, I think we've already, yeah, we put $5,000 from the Fairman Fund, and we get 20,000. We proposed that we would get 20,000 from CPA for the outside part of the library project. You know, the dirt and the foundation and the grinding and the bricks and taking out these invasive plant hedges and whatnot. And I'm probably going to be looking at a number that's double that.
Okay.
So anyway, that's my story. We have $20,000 in a state account that's presently unallocated. We haven't decided what to spend it on, but we really should spend it by the June 30th date. We have $10,000 that I mentioned earlier on the earlier town vote. And I have to dig that up to find out exactly what they voted on, but I think it was foundation work for the corner. And then we have the donation account, which I think we ought to save for the scholarships. And then we have $167 in the so-called dog fund, which we'll let Chris continue to nibble at with whatever she spends it on. So I think we're looking at almost $30,000 in our pocket, but I wouldn't want to say anything about that until Chris says she hasn't already thought up reasons to spend the state account. But we have at least 10,000. So we can get this person rolling on a plan, and we can get some things going on the building. And oh, I've also got National Glass doing an estimate on the storm window up above the desk. There's a couple windows there that just cascade cold air down on our employees. So that's my story, and all I'm really reporting is that I'm in the estimating phase, and I'm going to write a new number into our applications. I'm going to supply some substantiation, and that's it.
Okay. Well, that's a lot.
Yeah,
Thank you
so much.
It quickly became a full-time job.
Yeah.
Good thing you retired. Tom,
I am tired.
Oh.
What?
Would you be kind enough to send me a list of some of the projects that privately send me a list of some of the projects so I can put them correctly into the minutes?
I will,
Or do you,
I'll make sure you have our CPC applications and the ones we already have.
mhm.
They're not really changing, but I'll be putting potential contractors and estimates against sub parts of it, totaling it up and putting a new total on the front page.
Okay.
And I will send you all that stuff.
Yeah, and anything that, let me know anything that you want me to be sure to put in or highlight. And otherwise, I might do my usual thing of, Tom discussed a number of things that we need to be doing. So,
I'm sorry, but do you guys want all the blow-by-blows on this stuff? I can send you 40 emails, but it's awful hard to put the puzzle together, you know?
just an overview would be good, because what I'm thinking is I don't want us, I want enough record keeping that we don't have a situation like when we're like, so why on earth was the roof removed and replaced with shingles? So that, and so that we have answers to, people after us have some answers to questions if need be.
Mhm.
Very good. I'll try to leave a good trail.
Thank you.
So we need a motion to approve the revised applications with more specific estimates or something like that.
That would be fine.
Tom, can you repeat what you said? I didn't hear you.
I just said we need a motion to approve the
Yeah,
the applications with more
I-
specific estimates.
I heard you, Krista. I didn't hear
Oh,
what Tom
sorry.
replied, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said that would be fine.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
what I wrote down so far is motion to approve revised CPC applications with updated estimates. How does that sound? Is that accurate enough?
Perfect.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
I'll second. Krista.
thank you. I wasn't looking at the time I was writing.
Okay, let's vote. Krista,
I, yes, whatever.
Connie,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Yes, Josephine. Okay, thank you all.
And me.
Who did I? Oh, Johanna, so sorry. Johanna. How do you vote, Johanna?
Thank you. I vote yes.
Okay.
Unan.
I'm s-
Thank you, folks, for the support.
So just as feedback,
Thank
and
you
I
for your
agree
work.
with Johanna, if after the application and you said the next meeting was like the kind of mid-20s.
Yeah.
Of following up and just kind of, if you send a write-up, so it could be in the agenda of a talking point, but then send it to whoever's making the minutes so they can just copy it into our minutes. We have it available possibly for review too.
Very good. I'll do my best.
Yeah.
And Tom, this has become a big job. So how can we support you in this? How can we all take a part if needed?
Well, I just got a little surprised by requiring quotes, and you know, the ones I get are not going to be like 3 bids on a $100,000 project. They're going to be letter quotes, or somebody's going to give me an estimate,
Mhm.
But I'm hoping that that'll substantiate enough for the approval. The real work comes after the approval. I'm not making any decisions. I'm making a list.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to come back together and decide just exactly how to allocate the money, whether this item is more important, we should spend more on that than this item,
So it sounds like you're okay with making contact for the quotes then.
Oh, yes, yeah, I've got a pretty long
Okay.
list already rolling.
Okay. And what about the project with ML Altobelli? Do you want some support in that? I mean, nothing's happening yet. Are you going, do you want some support with that?
Well, this afternoon about 4 o'clock, she was able to give me a letter
Okay.
and talked about the cost of, and I'll forward it, talked about the cost of all the tree work she's estimating. And the deal is you have to do the trees, and then you do building foundation, and then you do the garden, so to speak.
Mhm.
You know? And so it'll be a while before we get to the gardens. But in terms of support, I guess I don't know how everybody feels about it, but I've been walking by those hedges and occasionally getting stuck on them. And I've had it with those things.
Yep.
And the place looks a little grim, and the place is going to get all dug up when they do the road. They're going to take down that big tree in front.
Mhm.
They're going to leave our maple tree that's just to the right of the walkway as you walk up.
Mhm.
And they're going to take some other trees down along up towards the school. And we should take down that tree that's right where everybody parks their car. Chris always parks her car right there on the corner of the lot.
Mhm.
That thing's ready to fall over. And you don't notice it until an expert comes by and points it out. But there's a lot of dead wood up there, and we really have to take that tree down, remove the stump, and take down the hedge at the top of the parking lot.
Mhm.
And I think it's unfair that the library just say we're going to do all this. I've got to figure out a way to get the school and the, I guess the town administrator to be basically in agreement with this, so that we have a nice long across the front of Main Street face on the town buildings.
Okay.
And we want to make sure it fits in with whatever road work they're doing, right? Like they're,
That's correct. I have all the road work plans and I have the elevations, and I've talked to the highway department to go up and shoot the elevations so that our grass doesn't end up a foot higher than the sidewalk.
Mhm.
And that's part of the plan, to blend our landscape into that. They're also,
wouldn't we do it after that, after they do whatever they're doing?
well, that would probably be
Or in
best, because they're going to
conjunction.
have some big equipment, you know?
Mhm.
They can crunch up whatever we do. But we could, for instance, remove the hedges and plan it
I see.
and get it ready for 2022. And then the other thing they're doing is they're taking that yellow flashing light out from in front of the building. It goes down towards Mr. Mike's by about, I don't know, 200-300 feet, because that's the state law. They're supposed to be down there. And they're also bringing in the telephone pole is going to move on to the lawn of the library. And I think that's kind of ugly. And I'm going to talk to somebody about burying the wire because it comes down the pole and then gets buried. Why not bury it on the other side of the street, dig up the street before they redo the street, and bury that wire and avoid a pole right in front of our building.
Mhm.
But these are kind of far out ideas.
Okay.
Well, I think the sidewalk definitely needs to be considered in any landscaping, because like if you're trying to go from the parking lot, you either have to go around, the entrance, or else you're walking on all this choppy pavement. And I know that's like, that's town level stuff, but
Well, that's in their plan for the expansion and redo. They're going to redo both the sidewalk all the way up, as well as on the other side of the road.
I just realized, I think we're talking about two
Good.
different sidewalks. There's the sidewalk that you'd walk along to get to Mr. Mike's, right along the
In the
side of the
parking lot.
road. Yeah, then there's the sidewalk that's perpendicular to that, and it goes down past the little doors on the
Mhm.
side of the library. That sidewalk needs to be redone. And many people who go to school, pick up their kids in school, park in the parking lot of the office, and they walk behind the library, which right now is just a mud trail.
yeah.
And we really need to do something back there. And that's part of ML's thinking. And then we have a very nice, could be a very nice stone enclosure on the south side of the building that we might be able to do something with. You can walk out to it. There's doors from the library lowest level out to this little area, and on a sunny day, it'd be nice to sit there and eat for lunch or something.
Mhm. Aren't those the doors that come out from the clerk's office or go down into the clerk's office? Until Lori, oh no, that's what used to be, right? Okay. Those steps on the south side of the building with the railing you're talking about, right?
Yes,
When you go down the steps, what is that space inside the building?
it is now, it used to be planning board, it's now, there's really only two people there. There's Lori
That's what, yeah.
and there's the Mallory
Mm-hmm.
Seaman, I think her name is, and she's land use, planning board, building inspector, assessors. She's a real,
Mm-hmm.
got a lot on her plate, as does Lori. But they're the only two down there.
Yeah.
And the vault.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do
So
we need a-
that sounds like a lot to just kind of look into, work on, get in, coordinate with Main Street.
I wish we could be together because I could put these plans out on the table and we'd all see what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I could send you a couple key drawings and you can see what's going on. I could put some pencil marks on them or something and explain what I'm talking about, telephone poles and easements. And you want the place to look good. And I think what's good is no telephone poles, nice trees, nice shrubs,
Mm-hmm.
and a lawn that makes sense.
That sounds good.
Yeah, you did send a plan, or somebody did, yeah, you did at one point, of the building and some of the changes that they are planning on making. Of course, when I printed them out, they came out in microtype, but you did send something out to that effect.
I honestly don't remember it.
Okay, Tom, you and Josephine just changed places.
We did?
Yes.
Hmm.
Don't know how you did that.
Well, so are we saying, Tom, that you maybe want to leave them at the library for us to check in on, or?
I'd be glad to.
Yeah. Okay. So let us know when they're there, and then we'll each go in and take a look.
Okay, very good. That's a good idea.
Thanks.
All right.
I'll send ML's letter around, and if you want the quotes I get from people or estimates, I'd be glad to do that. Oh, I also asked Lucky Lou to go in and estimate some of the odds and ends that Chris identified, and I haven't really heard back from him.
Uh-huh.
I've bugged him 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
Tom, the letter that you're talking about from Ms. Altobello, is that the one that is the January 31st letter, or is there another one since then?
Oh, there's a March 5th letter with more detail.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
I basically asked her how much is this going to cost
Mm.
through the planning stage.
All right. Johanna, you ready for us to move on, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Tom can certainly ask me any information that he thinks pertinent and edit out anything that he thinks is not necessarily needful for the minutes. And we'll work from there.
Okay.
Okay, yes,
Thanks, Johanna.
you're
Okay.
welcome.
So I have on the agenda review capital improvement plan. I don't have much to review, except I don't know if anyone else does, but we had talked at the January meeting about an upgrade to the library's electrical system. Remember that discussion? And we talked about, we had thought that, excuse me, we had thought that we had put in a request for what, $120,000, I think we were talking, or $140,000. I couldn't find any of that documentation. And could anyone else? And neither could Ryan. And so Tom, you sent me the Woodford Electric, the estimate from Woodford Electric.
Yeah, Woodford Electric was small potatoes. It was
Yeah, small potatoes, exactly.
signs and exit signs and illuminated And that's gonna be into the CPC pack.
Okay, yeah, so that's, well, I guess what I want to say is that's all I could really find in regards to upgrading our electrical system and having money in, included in the capital improvement plan. So I couldn't find anything else. And I remember having the discussion and talking about needing, a great deal of money for this, but I couldn't find anything. So it's not going to be in the capital improvement plan unless some future plan.
Well, what year is it supposed to be in the plan?
It was supposed to be in the fourth year, so that would have been 2025.
Excuse me. I'm in contact with, excuse me, I've been in contact with Milford Electric,
Mhm.
and I could ask them to take a look at it, but it's not gonna be a 1-week turnaround.
Mhm.
When do you need it?
I mean, I think we needed it already. I think we needed it back when we were talking about the upcoming fiscal years and what we would wanted to see in the plan for the upcoming 5 years. So I don't know whether we can still, I mean, it doesn't hurt for us to find out what it costs to upgrade our electrical system. The library, we need it. The library needs it. Whether it can get into the capital improvement plan that we have now for the next 5 years, I don't know.
Well, why don't I initiate it with this Wolford guy? He was very good. He came out with another guy and they walked the system and gave us all this information about safety lights.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna touch it until after I get the CPC thing resolved. But I'll put him on alert and ask him to think about it, and maybe we can get it in June.
Okay. I mean,
Or
I
late April.
feel like that's okay. I can let Ryan know that and see how he responds.
I think the estimate will be really helpful for that because there is a need, and then maybe there would be some state money that would be,
Mhm.
For, technology upgrade, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we'll keep plugging along at that. We'll get some estimates during the summer at some point.
Yeah, you're not crazy, Josephine. There was some mention of that, but I think it may have been longer ago than you remember it, of
Okay.
the potential funding needed for an honest upgrade of the
Mhm.
library's electrical.
Okay. Yeah, I did look through minutes and I didn't, anyway, we'll keep plugging along with that, I guess. And then any other questions or comments about the capital improvement plan? We've talked about it a few times already. So I have Library Foundation inspection report. Do we have any updates on that, or is there anything?
That's an
Anything?
attachment. That was an attachment to the CPC application for the foundation money.
Okay. So, well, that looks like that's the end of our agenda for tonight. And I'm looking at this to plan ahead for the next meeting. So just FYI, I said to Lori Reed, I had a lot of trouble scheduling meetings, and maybe I shouldn't say this during a recorded meeting, but whatever. I was able to schedule a few ahead. It is my understanding that there are only 2 licenses for Zoom, and Hubbardston Public Library is not a priority when they schedule the meetings. That, of course, select board and finance committee and some of those others who have deadlines and require, meetings more often, or they come first. That's my understanding from Lori Reed. So I just said to her, can we please just schedule a few ahead? And so we have April scheduled, and I'll ask her to schedule May, June, July. And yeah, so I'll do my best to schedule some more meetings. As of right now, April is scheduled. I do, I appreciate, in February when I just wasn't feeling well, I couldn't come into the meeting. I did reach out to a couple of you, or 3 of you, and you were all really supportive of trying to get the meeting going without my being here. And I want to, and I really appreciate that. And then the decision was made just because I think it was easier not to have it. I think I would love it if starting the meeting isn't really that complicated. And reading the reading that I do in the beginning is just at the beginning of the agenda. So I just want to throw that out there just in case it comes up again, because no one ever knows what will happen. That I prefer not to schedule the meetings just in case I can't attend, that the meetings could go on anyway if we have quorum. So that, yeah.
Why don't we designate a B team?
We could. Who would like to do that?
I think Morgan would,
Morgan, would you?
or Krista.
Hmm?
Or Connie.
Yeah, who would like to, it won't happen often, but it happens. And I don't want to, I mean, it's much better if we don't cancel meetings and we can just plug along. The agenda is pretty simple, I think, right now. So anyone want to say that they'll be second to start the meetings just in case I can't make it?
I'm happy to. I'm
Thank
happy
you.
as long as I know. My only hang up was I didn't know how to start the Ryan McLean
Yeah.
Hubbardston Zoom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So if it comes up, what I'll do is I'll just email you the login and password. It changes. So if I did it tonight, it probably wouldn't be good the next
Valid.
time. So if and when it happens again, I'll make sure to email you the that info.
Okay.
And then it's a matter of making everyone a panelist. I don't know why, because most Zoom meetings don't work that way, but I don't get to see your video unless I promote you to panelist. So it's just selecting the person's name, like clicking on the name, right clicking, and you'll see promote to panelist. So it's pretty simple. I just get nervous, which is what you see when I'm kind of fumbling through it. But it's not complicated. It's just that I get nervous when I'm fumbling through doing that, basically. I'm not used to using Zoom. So I appreciate that, Morgan. Mm-hmm.
What is the pros and cons of the library just going out and buying its own Zoom license?
Oh, that's right. We talked about that. Maybe we could have that have that discussion at the April meeting. How's that?
Well, these things are like, I have a feeling they're less than $1,000.
And I think, yeah. So what about that? What if we voted on paying for our own Zoom account as Hubbardston Public Library, because we're probably going to use it for quite a while, and then we won't have the issue of having to use the towns, and we can have special meetings when we need it.
I'm in
Might be
favor of
useful for
that.
programming as well,
Okay,
like the
yeah.
story time or.
Right.
Chris might have 10 uses for it, and
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's an outright buy or an annual lease or what it is.
You
Yeah.
can set up a free account, but I don't know if you can record with the free account.
No, I think we need an official one, and we need to make sure we somehow tie it into the town's television station or whatever it is that broadcasts these things.
Yeah.
But, I'd like to see that pursued, and then we're completely independent. We don't have to, and I think we want it legal, but I think that's not very hard to do in today's Zoom world.
Yeah. So probably this is something we could vote on quickly. So anyone want to make a motion?
I'd love to. I'll make a motion.
Okay. Go ahead.
That we authorize Chris or whoever else we authorize ourselves to explore the alternative of having our own Zoom license.
And make the purchase.
Purchase, rent, buy, whatever it is.
Yeah, okay.
1 year lease, doesn't matter.
What I was going to say, which might be what you're trying to say, only simpler, that the Hubbardston Public Library fund its own Zoom account.
Yes, sounds good.
Thank you, Joanna, for being more succinct.
So who
Once in a while I nail it.
You've accused me of not being very succinct in the past.
I'll second the motion.
Okay.
Let's do a quick vote. Krista?
So are we still meeting on the first Thursday? I know there was some discussion about changing that.
So that change had to do with the, let's finish this vote and then we'll
Thank you.
come back to that. So Krista, how do you vote?
Yes.
Connie? Yes. Morgan?
Yes.
Johanna?
Yes,
Tom?
Yes,
Yes, Josephine. Yeah, so I think that discussion, Krista, had to do with the fact that we couldn't get scheduled. And I think this could solve that. Yeah, and there was that possibility, and I guess we don't need it now. So is everyone okay with sticking to the first Thursday of the month? Okay,
sure.
yeah. So, yeah, so I don't have anything else on the agenda. We do need to talk about what, and maybe we could do this through, everyone sends me a quick email about what they would like to see on the agenda for next time. Because we don't have much planned. You know, most of the things we talked about tonight were being taken care of.
I'll have a CPC report.
Yeah, you'll have a CPC
Oh, good.
report.
And the scholarship, we could update.
Didn't we vote on the scholarship?
Yeah, so the scholarships, I think all
No, I
set. We
just
won't,
meant a,
Okay,
we won't take a look at that until the May meeting. Yeah, so we do have Connie's nice work that she did with the grant, pulling together the grants and grants deadlines. We could do that. I mean, if everyone reviewed that and then we could talk about it. We could also work on the ADA compliance stuff that's on the list.
Okay.
And then we can review, you know, go back to reviewing the CPC report stuff that Tom's doing and the Alto Belly landscaping. All right. So if anyone has anything else that they'd like to add to the agenda, just let me know, send me a quick email. I don't respond back because of the, you know, laws.
you can completely discuss agenda items and
I know.
scheduling
Okay.
without any open meeting law violations.
Okay. Yeah. So send me an email.
You can't debate the topic, but you can say we
Yeah.
add this and schedule this.
Yes, absolutely. So send me those and I will add. And if anyone has any questions or call me anytime. I'd like to call Krista tomorrow. Are you available a little bit for us to have a little conversation? Krista?
yeah, sure. That's
Okay,
fine.
I'm going to give you a call tomorrow afternoon. It's nothing too big, but yeah. So anyone have any
tomorrow,
questions?
you know what? I'm sorry, Josephine. Well, we can do this offline, but
Yeah. Will you stay on for a second after
sure,
everyone
yeah,
goes? Okay.
sure.
Anyone else have any questions or comments or anything they want to
Yes.
bring up tonight? Go ahead, Morgan.
So real quickly, just the library director's report, Chris Barberos.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It should have been sent out to everybody. So I think Joanna, you can just copy it over. If you don't, let me know and I'll send it to you.
Mhm.
Do you want for me to read it?
Sure, that would be nice. Great.
All right. I said that and then I thought the printout. All right. Director's report is for March 4th, 2021, curbside pickup, we were 13, patrons 69. Facebook totals, we had page views of 99 in February, 81 in January, 56 in December, and 87 in November. So it's still showing an increase. Posts reached in February were 335. In January, there were 553. In December, there were 531. In November, 446. Total page likes in February were 640. In January, 639. So very similar. December, 637. November, 634. Page followers in February were 699, which is very similar to January 698, December 696, and November 691. So very steady, and especially considering February is the shortest month of the year. Wi-Fi connections for February were 29, January there were 46. She goes on to say that February is a short month and we had snowy weather on 3 of the 4 Tuesdays this month. So the numbers for patrons are down. We were also closed for President's Day, which affected curbside members. I anticipate that our patron visits will increase as the weather improves. Krista and Gabby have been focused on weeding our nonfiction collection and providing us with much needed shelf space. Thank you both. We put out displays for Black History Month, President's Day, Valentine's Day in the adult and children's rooms. Since the Senior Book Club is on hiatus until the Senior Center reopens, we are offering a variation, on curbside pickup for seniors. If they request a book and they have a valid library card, we will check the book out to them and bring it to the Senior Center for pickup when they offer egg pickup. Michelle is gearing up for story time again. Starting date is yet to be determined. We will be offering families craft kits to go along with story time. And finally, the trustees received a thank you card from one of last year's scholarship recipients. I scanned and forwarded her letter to you all in an email. She goes on to include the library assets, statements, expenditures, and remaining balances.
Thank you, Morgan. Well, make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Second,
Krista, how do you vote?
Yes.
Connie,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Johanna,
Yes.
Tom,
yes.
yes, Josephine. Okay,